Hi, I'm Dave Stodder. I'm Director of Research for Business Intelligence for TDWI, and we have our San Diego World Conference coming up, and look forward to having you there. We have a special presentation today. Our keynoters for the Thursday, August 2nd session are going to be Marc Madsen, who is President of Third Nature, and Marc Demarest, who is CEO and founder of Numenal. And they're going to be doing a point-counterpoint called Big Data Through the Looking Glass, two views on the big data revolution. Marc taking a bit more of the, I guess you could say, laggard view, traditional view. Marc Demarest taking the view of adventurous technology, the big data technology wave that's hitting. And so they're going to explore on stage 10 different points. So we'll get a very thorough discussion of things that organizations are concerned about when it comes to big data. Here we're just going to talk about one of them. And the question is, what is the role of conventional data warehouses in the big data environment that's coming to be? Marc?
Well, I don't think that the role changes that much. I think the role of the conventional data warehouse is here to stay. It's here for a reason, and that reason is that it was designed by data people for users. It was designed to deliver information to people to make decisions. And when we look at all of this big data technology, it's by programmers for programmers. It was architected and designed to enable people to analyze big chunks of data, but how do you get the data to the people to make the decisions? And it's a lot like the gold rush. The hype is there, the gold rush is going on, discover nuggets of gold by sifting and mining big piles of data, but then you got to pack it on a mule and hike it to the market to get rid of the stuff. And there is no pack mule for the big data today, or the big data nuggets. And so you're struggling with this stuff because it's emerging technology. And I think the problem is, with this emerging technology, it's emerging for a reason. It's rough around the edges, it's single purpose, does one thing and one thing well. And so Hadoop does one thing well. MongoDB does one thing well. Each thing does one thing well. So you've got a bunch of one-trick ponies. And the name for a bunch of one-trick ponies is a circus. So if you want to manage a stable of these things in your IT environment, you've got to think about how you're going to deal with all of that stuff and how you're going to deploy it. And I just don't see doing that outside the context of the architecture we have in place today.
Okay, well, thank you, Marc. There's a bit of the laggard, skeptical point of view. How about the other point of view, the counterpoint to the point, Marc Demarest?
Well, you call it laggard, I call it Paleolithic. Spoken by a protector of the status quo. You know, we forget, when we talk about big data, it isn't just about the volumes or the variety, it's about the velocity. The conventional data warehousing architecture was built for a prior age where time was measured in weeks or months. We were a little better than batch-oriented in a lot of our decision-making processes. We've now got data arriving in large volumes on a more or less continual basis, and the conventional data warehousing architecture is just simply not suited for that sort of environment. Yes, for sure, a lot of the big data technologies are for programmers, by programmers. Those programmers are building an infrastructure that bypasses our conventional notion that all data ends up on a pretty screen in front of human eyeballs who then somehow make decisions. The decision gets made in the code. We don't have to take the nuggets to market. We are in the market, responding to the signal, analyzing the data, and acting accordingly, all technologically. So from my perspective, the conventional data warehousing infrastructure still serves a purpose. It has a social function. It's an information distribution network. But the interesting high value, high economic value activity is going to take place in a different infrastructure. And conventional data warehousing would be much more like a backwater, a provincial sleepy town where they used to mine gold and now they entertain the tourists.
All right, well, there's a little flavor of the point-counterpoint that we're going to see at the keynote by Marc and Marc at the World Conference on August 2nd in beautiful San Diego, and we hope you can join us there.